Bruno and the Forest of Whispers. Once upon a time, in a peaceful green valley nestled between mountains and rivers, there lived a young bear named Bruno. He wasn't a very big bear, nor was he the strongest, but he had the brightest eyes and the biggest heart you could ever imagine. His fur was the color of toasted chestnuts, and when the morning sun touched his back, it shimmered with a soft golden glow. Bruno lived in a cozy little den made of soft moss and pine branches, tucked beneath the roots of an ancient tree. There, he shared his days with his gentle mother, who always smelled like fresh honey and wildflowers, and his baby sister Bella, who had a habit of giggling in her sleep and clapping her tiny paws whenever she saw butterflies. Every night, Mama Bear would tuck her cubs in with a warm blanket made of woven leaves and feathers, then tell them stories passed down through generations. Bruno's favorite tale was the legend of the Forest of Whispers, a magical place hidden deep in the woods where trees were said to talk in hushes and murmurs, and the wind carried the secrets of dreams and stars. Is it real, Mama? Bruno would always ask, snuggling closer. Mama Bear would smile, tapping his nose gently. It's real, if you believe it's real. But remember, little one, the forest is deep and wide. Always stay close to home. But Bruno's heart was full of wonder. His mind danced with questions and dreams. He longed not just to hear the whispers of the forest, but to understand them, to be a part of the magic that danced in the leaves and glimmered in the moonlight. One chilly morning, while the world was still asleep and the stars were beginning to fade, Bruno sat beside the stream outside their den. The water sparkled like glass, and the wind tickled his ears. As his mother joined him, she looked into his thoughtful eyes. What are you thinking about, my sweet bear? Bruno hesitated, then said quietly, I wish I could hear the trees. I wish I knew their secrets. His mother wrapped her soft paw around him. Sometimes the quietest voices carry the greatest wisdom. One day, when you're ready, you'll understand. That night, as the forest sighed under a silver moon, Bruno couldn't sleep. The trees outside seemed to be calling to him, whispering through the branches. He tiptoed softly so he wouldn't wake Bella or his mother. With his tiny paw, he tied a satchel of berries and tucked in his grandfather's compass, an old brass thing that clicked and ticked and never quite pointed the same way twice. And then Bruno set off on his journey. The forest was cool and quiet, wrapped in morning mist. Sunlight poked through in golden ribbons, and little mushrooms popped up along his path like stepping stones. The leaves rustled gently, and Bruno listened closely. Suddenly, a soft breeze brushed his cheek, and he heard it. A whisper, delicate and light like a dream. Go west, little bear, where the silver moss grows. Bruno blinked. Was that the trees? His heart skipped a beat. With excitement bubbling in his chest, he followed the voice, venturing deeper into the forest, where flowers glowed and shadows danced like friendly spirits. As he rounded a bend near a bubbling brook, he nearly bumped into a grumpy squirrel named Pip. Watch it! Pip squeaked, fluffing his tail. What are you doing out here at this hour? Bruno, slightly embarrassed, rubbed the back of his head. I'm looking for the Forest of Whispers. Pip rolled his eyes. That old story. It's just a myth. But Bruno's eyes sparkled with belief. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's just hidden. Pip huffed, but he was curious. And besides, he didn't have much planned that day. Fine, he muttered. I'll come along. Just don't slow me down. Together, the bear and the squirrel traveled through forests of wildflowers and hills shaped like giant sleeping turtles. They laughed, they argued, and they shared berries when they grew hungry. Soon, they met Olive, a wise old owl perched high in a birch tree, wearing tiny round glasses and sipping tea from an acorn cap. Forest of Whispers, she hooted thoughtfully. Ah, yes, I've read of it. A place where dreams echo and memories bloom. Bruno's ears perked up. Can you help us find it? I'll guide you, said Olive, stretching her feathery wings. But we must reach the glade before the moon climbs too high. With Olive flying above and Pip scurrying ahead, Bruno followed the sounds of laughter in the wind and the scent of lavender in the air. As they journeyed, the forest changed. Trees shimmered with silver bark. Crystals hung like ornaments from their branches. Fireflies glowed like lanterns, lighting their way. The forest feels awake, Bruno whispered. And the forest replied with a gentle rustling. You are close. They entered a glade bathed in moonlight, where flowers sang in tiny voices and stones hummed under their feet. At the center stood a majestic willow tree, older than any tree Bruno had ever seen. Its branches swayed though there was no wind. Its bark shimmered with soft light. Bruno approached slowly, his paws barely making a sound. He whispered, Are you the Forest of Whispers? The willow answered not with words, but with feeling. A warmth spread through Bruno's chest, like a lullaby sung by the stars. Then, a deep voice echoed through the glade. You listened, little one? You followed not your paws, but your heart. Bruno's eyes welled with tears. I wanted to understand. I wanted to belong. You always belonged, said the willow. Even when you felt small, your heart was big. And that is where magic grows. One by one, the trees around them whispered, You are brave. You are kind. You are not small. You are strong. You are you. And that is enough. Bruno looked at Pip, who smiled, eyes wide with wonder. Olive nodded, her glasses slipping to the tip of her beak. The willow continued, Carry our whispers with you. Share them. Remind the world that even the quietest voices matter. Bruno placed his paw on the glowing roots. I promise. As they left the glade, the moon guided them. The path home shimmered, and the stars twinkled as if cheering. Back in the den, Mama Bear hugged Bruno tight. My little explorer, where did you go? Bruno smiled, his heart full. I went listening. That night, he told Bella stories of silver trees and kind whispers. As she drifted to sleep, she murmured, I want to hear the trees too. From that day forward, Bruno became the storyteller of the forest. Animals gathered near his den each evening to listen. He spoke of magic not with grand words, but with warmth, patience, and truth. And sometimes, if you were very quiet, you could still hear him sitting by the willow tree, listening to the whispers and smiling. The end. Sometimes, the smallest hearts carry the loudest courage. You don't need to be the biggest or the strongest to do something meaningful. You just need to be brave enough to take the first step and kind enough to keep going. Remember, you don't need to roar to be heard. A gentle voice filled with truth, hope, and kindness can echo farther than you might ever imagine. Every heart holds a light, and even the tiniest glow can brighten the darkest forest. So keep listening, keep wondering, and never stop believing that you matter, just as you are. Your story is important, and it's still being written. Good night, little one. Dream of forests and whispers and finding your own brave story. Tomorrow is a new page, and your adventure is just beginning.